Esther finds herself saying on a really regular basis, I am convinced, I know for sure that I can be or do or have anything that I define and calibrate to. And then she says, what do I want? What is it? What is it? Because there's still a part of her, as much as she's been hearing from us, that thinks, when is enough enough? And we say, never. Enough is not enough, ever, because it is the attraction that is your life. It is your focusing things into being that is the reason that you are the creator that you are. The creator who knows that things aren't finite, that there's not only one truck, that knows that the universe, even your physical platform, is expanding with every rocket of desire that you launch. You just got to get yourself in a place that you believe in your rocket and that you feel worthy enough, we know you do, to allow the universe to show you how loved you are, how blessed you are, and how worthy you are, and how much fun it is to follow this path of less and less resistance until you step onto that piece of it where it flips from path of less resistance to the path of most allowance. And then that's when indescribable things happen for you. And people who aren't on the same wavelength don't get it. They don't understand the pleasure you're having in creation. They think it's about a truck. They don't understand the pleasure you're having in creation. They think it's about you filling a void with something that you want. But once you get it, that what life is about is pondering and wondering and exploring and choosing and then focusing until what you've chosen becomes a bigger part of your experience and provides a platform from which you choose again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It's the process of flowing your thoughts of expectation outward that call whatever the object of your attention is to you. But you've got to focus purely. You can't focus in dread or in greed or in worry or in fear or in competition or in retaliation or in trying to fill the void. You focus in the pleasure of knowing how the universe works and knowing that you can focus. And how do you get there? It's so simple. You just play a game. Esther plays it all day, every day these days, where thoughts come to her mind for a variety of different reasons. And she sniffs it out or feels it out and then acknowledges whether it feels good or not. And if it doesn't feel good, she says, can I make it feel better? And if she can, she does. And if she can't, she just lets it go. It's a little better. Oh, that's 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 a little better. In the shower today, what a glorious shower is in this hotel. Really, really, really pleasing shower. And the temperature was so, well, she turned it, but it had a very, very, very incremental spot between way too hot and just right. Way too hot and just right. She thought, well, just a little more. No, oh, too much. Just a little less. Oh, too cold. In other words, Esther had a good time with that shower valve today, thinking about the incremental differences between too hot and too cold and just right. And it was finite. You all are calibrating with thoughts that are finite. Finite in the sense that there is not a lot of variation. You want to figure that out and you want to focus there. And then you want to move a little one way or the other just to make sure. But when you focus on a daily basis on the things that matter to you, as much as Esther focused on a shower, and the too hot was out of the question, the not quite warm enough was fine, but really, why not get it right where you want it? Why not get everything right where you want it? Why not find that sweet spot of your opinion about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that? Why ever put up with way too hot or way too cold like you do with your thoughts all day, every day about things that make you angry or things that make you fearful or things that make you feel insecure? Why do that when you have the choice to calibrate a little more to what you want and a universe that will back you up with the evidence of your better choices?
Good afternoon.
It is.
It is. So I've got a couple things that have been on my drive over here today that I was just asking for clarity. And to dovetail first on what you were just talking about with him, there have been, as I look back on my life, there have been many times when the universe showed me something that completely...
You're good.
Too close. Completely rang my bells, so lit up. I knew that that's what I wanted to do, and I went after it and made it happen.
Well, by then...
But I didn't know it was coming.
Pardon the interruption, but we really got to say this. By that time, a lot of momentum had gathered. In other words, that's path of most allowance by the time you get there. But what you weren't maybe aware of is all of the alignment that was taking place on the way to that.
Yeah, because it kind of, what I would call, as you guys often say, it came out of the oblivious.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't something...
It's a good way of saying it.
Huh?
It's a good way of saying it. Came out of the oblivious. I didn't know how much I wanted it, maybe. I didn't know that it was possible, maybe. I didn't know I was capable of it, or I didn't understand the process, or I wasn't focusing as deliberately as I now understand it is fun to do. Yeah.
Right. And I think part of my question is, or what I'm seeking clarity on, I keep saying, okay, Abraham, the universe, the powers that be, show me that next thing that really lights me up. I mean,
well, that's your job.
Huh?
That's your job.
That's
your job.
I know.
Now wait. You've been launching rockets of desires and you've got a vortex full of stuff. Don't pretend like you don't know that. You've got a vortex full of stuff. And so if you're not being shown, then you're not calibrated to your vortex as much as you think you are. Because if you're calibrated to your vortex, things are lighting up all over the place. If you're not, then you're still in the oblivious. See, that's what we were saying about Esther. Esther will say, I know that I can be and do and have. I know I can. But what is it that I want? And what she's asking herself to do is to focus upon what. And so sometimes you can start where you are and just try to zoom in on it a little bit. Esther will say, I know that I want it to be fun. I know I want it to be of value for me and whoever plays with me. And I know that I want to feel the power of the universe in it. I know that I want it to wake me up in the morning and get me going. And I know that I want other people to be involved in it because that's way fun. I know that I'll know it when I see it. And I know that it's closer than I know that it is because I couldn't even be sniffing it out if it weren't there. And I know that it's probably been revealed to me on many occasions, but I haven't realized it because I've been focused over there. Maybe I felt like I was too busy, or maybe I thought I didn't have enough help, or maybe I thought some other dumb thing. Really, let's get right to the bottom line here. Why would anyone like you or like Esther want to create anything? Esther really has enough stuff.
I'm not really talking about stuff.
Not too much stuff. We know.
Okay.
But what we're getting at is what rings your bells? What is it? You're not talking about stuff. What are you talking about?
Well, you were in my head a minute ago because you just said that I love being involved. I am a very collaborative kind of guy, and I love doing this kind of work. And I have three things that I really love to do. I'm a pianist, I'm a chef, and I love to be in conversation with people about their spiritual evolution, if you will. So it's that creative stuff, and it's the engagement with people.
And so that's very defined. You're very clear about that. And so you can zoom in more and more, not to make it happen. This is the key. Not to make it happen. It's already happening. But to take more pleasure from what's happening. Did you hear that? Not to make it happen. It's already in motion. You want to find ways to take more pleasure from it where it is, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. People think they want quantum leaps. Just help me win the lottery and then I'll go buy the red truck. But it's not like that. That's not what rings your bells. What rings your bells is defining, focusing, having an emotional response to your focus, and then watching the evidence of that focus. Oh, and then when your focus leads you to action or behavior, then you're really off and running. That's when it's really fun, when other people join you and you start laughing and scratching, and you collaboratively, as is happening now, come up with things that you couldn't have come up with if there weren't two more of you gathered.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next